The relationship with the little princess will usher in a new turn. However, the existence of the demon blade was discovered by my opponents. Unexpectedly, Aaron, who usually only knows crying and self-blame, has finally grown into a self-contained appearance. Just as the runaway Lunal was violently pressuring Aaron, Lexi said bluntly, "Please stop your current disrespectful behavior immediately. Otherwise, even if you are a prince, as the princess's guardian knight, I must also be compelled to act." Lunal immediately reversed the wheel. "What a guy who doesn't know the height of the sky. Tell me what you can do. You maggot under the fence. By the offense you just made to me, I can order you and all your relatives to be put to death. Erase your last name from this world once and for all." Aaron drank Lunal. "There must be a reason why the royal brother is here. Don't you want to hear what I've to say?" Aaron's reaction seemed to subvert Lunal's perception of him. How could he be so calm? This is the same strong desire to identify with the previous one. My sister who is so weak. Lunal's madness is true. 3 points are false. The current performance is completely about the pressure to seize the initiative. But Aaron gets to the heart of the conflict. Or should I say it directly? Aaron, Severus never received any gifts from you. It was in the previous meeting between Irene and the Emperor. The magic stone in the broken necklace had already caught the Emperor's attention, although Lunal has repeatedly claimed. When confused, it was just a magic stone used by the Black Blood tribe to control monsters. But there are 2 servants who have had a relationship with this thing. But they all died suddenly, and there was no proof. It can be imagined. The 2 must have been part of a bloody conspiracy. But the Emperor's eyeliner only probed. They had been very close to Lunal before. But now in the face of the Emperor's suspicions, Aaron denied the fact that Lunal had given the necklace. Just made a request to release Luna. The Emperor granted the promise of release. But his face was still cloudy. Aaron decided to cover up for Lunal. "It's just that I'm worried that Lunal, who is in trouble, will harm the people around him. Too many people have already died for him. Now he can think of a way to protect the people around him, only to swallow the bitter fruit of the thorn alone. Isn't that what you want? The royal brother is in front of his father. I say the same thing." Lunal's face was gloomy. "You're quite right. I've never given you any gifts. But what's going on with your current attitude? It was like I was doing something wrong. Speaking of which, your offended subordinate. Should I do something to him first?" Aaron lamented all her life. "I'm very sorry for that. But I have a very important guest to entertain now. This is already an obvious eviction order." Lunal wondered. "Is there someone more important than me?" Aaron said calmly. "For me. He is indeed special enough. If you also have someone special, then I had to buy a new pair of running shoes for the new semester. Where to send her to buy big-name running shoes is really reliable and saves money. It is recommended to use the physical goods platform to compare the price trend of the whole network store in real time. Directly find the bottom price of the whole network for you. Like Li Ning, ASICS, and TA. Li Ning fell to more than 200. Crucially, these stores must be screened regularly by the platform in order to be included in the logo. On Shein buys offer 3 and 7 days of no-reason service. Link to the comments section. Couples will also receive cash benefits. Follow Aaron's point. Lunal finally saw the figure standing still in the corner. When did he appear there? Why didn't I notice it at all? I apologize. I didn't mean to be that unobtrusive, but I've heard it all. Lunal looked at me. I still feel like I have seen a ghost. How long have you been hiding there? I'll tell you frankly. I just didn't have a sense of existence by nature. This was instead provoked by him. So what do you want to do now? Babbling gibberish in front of me. I'm not going to be fooled by his bluffing. So, are you going to do something to me too? Let my last name disappear from this world. Lunal quickly assessed the situation in front of him. So is the news about the 2 of them getting engaged true? The 5th princess of the failed product and the most trusted best friend of her father. Son of William Witt. It's not a good time to make enemies. When Asher told me, when he wanted to get rid of his youngest brother, I'm still a little dismissive. After all, the reason why I got rid of Aaron. It's an attempt to kick out a contender for the throne. But the explanation given by Asher is only for now. This one irritates him. Dukewood had already given Asher the most trust and attention. But he is still very taboo about the hidden strength behind this younger brother. Now I finally know why. The momentum that this teenager exudes alone is already so unpleasant. The next second, Lunel became calm again. All right. I was just kidding. Since there is a misunderstanding of marriage, it's time for me to go too. He gave up so easily. This is somewhat inconsistent with my impression of my previous life. Lunel's character at this time was far from being after he came to power. So crazy as a tyrant. Turn to leave. He even apologized to Lexi. Lexi hurriedly returned the salute. But a glimpse of the departure revealed Lunel's true thoughts. Boy, be careful in the future. Wait until Lunel is gone. Lexi said bluntly. This big prince is a piece of shit. Thank you so much for clearing the siege just now. I know that. This sergeant would be known as the strongest sword saint genius in the continent. It turns out that the character is so bold. It's funny. But at this time, Irene's face was flushed. She's so close to me. Even the breath on his body came to his face. The next moment I was sitting next to him. Are you just sitting here? I asked rhetorically. Can't you sit? I had been standing there for a long time. Aaron's face immediately flushed. It's not that it's not impossible. I just haven't quite adapted to it yet. I said. I was really impressed by his performance just now. Now Lunel must have mistaken us for an alliance. Then he will not dare to act rashly against you again. Aaron's voice was like a mosquito. Only Lexi, a bystander, saw through it at a glance. He's such a hopelessly stupid ass. Such a great opportunity is so easy to miss. After Lunel leaves. Enraged, he found Asher again. Didn't you say your plan was perfect? But now all the people we wanted to kill are still alive. The worst part. I also lost my father's trust. I was supposed to be the hero of this damned empire. But why did things turn out the way they were? Asher looked calm and let it out. He had already figured out how to get along with the eldest prince. At this time, another voice suddenly sounded. We are not in vain. Lunel immediately scolded. Who dared to interrupt me? Boris owes an apology. And said, during this time, he has been carrying out the tasks assigned by Asher. Ahir is still unhappy. But now Emily, who arranged for you to get rid of, is also missing. And where is the success you were talking about? Boris looked calm as he took out the sealed magic. It turns out, we have always underestimated the strength of the people around Princess Irene. This is not to say that the Lord was wrong in making his plans. But look at this. This is the battle crystal I collected from the energy left over from the battlefield. Most of this energy is ordinary. But only this energy is very, very rare. Between words, the energy of the black mist filled the hallway. This energy was once seen by the church as incomparably evil and ominous. He is the magic of the demon blade. We have to reevaluate Princess Irene. One of the friends must be a fierce opponent with a competitive demon blade. And on the other side, I returned to the shelter where Brian and the others were hidden. He must have seen the power of Emily's dark cuisine for the first time. The whole person was a little scorched on the outside and tender on the inside. Immediately said that he thought it was a crab stew. But the lump in front of me is clearly not. I'm used to it. Nana is even more frantically avoiding Emily. The whole person is a little fluttering with happiness. Correct. Eat slowly, eat slowly. Nana was so happy. You love my food so much. Brian only felt that his 3 views were ruined. Just now I seem to see the ingredients moving. I swear it wasn't a delusion. Emily is still diligent. But I'm full. This time I came back just to confirm their safety. If you stay too long, may be tracked to the location by Asher. Emily immediately complained about Arshir. His attitude changed so quickly. Obviously, I still admired it before. I've arranged a sentry here. Say hello to Brian if you need anything. After instructing several people, I turned away too. When you can turn the alley. But suddenly there was a teasing chuckle. What a warm and lovely family. It's Celica. Shouldn't you explain it to me now? Why did you know about the occurrence of the blood swallow and the identity of my fiancé? And everything you do? It's like knowing what the future holds. I didn't expect him to be the first to suspect me. Celica is still aggressive. It's best to answer my questions carefully, because I might be your answer. Decide if you are an enemy or not. Say who you really are. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly. A girl with 3 years left to live. But I personally removed the shackles of my short-lived. As soon as he was released from prison, he rushed to see me. Even there was a hint of unusual taste in his eyes. At this time, I was still struggling with Celica's suspicions. From the occurrence of blood to the death of Drenian. In front of him, I have shown that I am very comfortable with the future. If all of the above can be explained by knowing the information in advance, then I can find out about Celica's engagement. It's counterintuitive. After all, he is very taboo about this matter. So how do you know? I asked rhetorically. Drenian was the goal of evolution. As long as the result is good. Are these processes still that important? But I didn't expect this perfunctory to get him away easily. It's just when he asks questions. My attitude was a little difficult to deal with. In a past life, Celica was the first teacher to give me recognition and encouragement. But what he did for me, it's all just an emotional camouflage to accomplish organizational tasks. Therefore, in my heart, he can only be put in a slightly awkward position. More than grateful. Trust owes this world. Our relationship. It's more just a mutual appreciation of each other's work strength. These emotions do not form the basis of my confession to them and the secret of their rebirth. So even if he doubts it now, I could be a spy for other organizations. I'm also indifferent. If I were a spy, and what will you do? Celica replied without the slightest hesitation. Isn't the result of this question obvious? Falling before his words came the soft sound of the double-bladed swing. This madman. But what followed the attack for me was a mist that seemed to be substantial. Celica stood still. You have to interfere, don't you? The black fog gradually solidified. Kareem's figure appeared. You just can't learn. Isn't it? I didn't tell you. Don't harass my master. Celica continued to bully. Looks like Master Kareem. You, too, are being kept in the dark. But there's a chance to play against you. It's also the happiness I've always dreamed of. Kareem was furious. You've me off. The two are staggered. Like two butterflies fluttering. But the sound of the ice blades clashing was noisy. Rain. A flip-fly. After the takeoff, Kareem finally couldn't help but make a big move. Okay, I'll show you something interesting. This Kareem had just gathered some strength by devouring. I can't wait to beat. This is an adversary who has never been waiting to see each other. Celica is just as ready to go. But the madness in his eyes was unabated. Black Mist is an all-powerful darkbreaker. The black ball carries an indomitable momentum. Slammed into the ground. Celica gathered. Even if the skill is powerful, I just have to focus on dodging. But the power of the missing wrecking ball still frightened him. Is this the power of Master Kareem? If you just chose to resist, I must have lost my skin. Is that why he's willing to put it into practice? This power, if left unlimited, it is indeed possible to destroy a city with ease. Maybe it's only the power of being a demon king. It's possible to block that kind of power. But Kareem's expression was like stepping on shit. Damn, it didn't hit. He doesn't have any more power now. One more attack like the one you just had. But his fighting spirit is undiminished. It's more fun that way. I've just warmed up. Laika did not show weakness when he heard this. Crazy provocation. But the next second, the demon blade control spell Kareem's figure slammed into the ground. The grease stain in my mouth was unwilling to let go of me. I'm just getting started with him. I walked out of the room with black lines on my face. But you're making too much noise. The energy fluctuation just now must have attracted the attention of those who have a heart. You fool, Nana. They're hiding here. Now it's all because you have to move. It's really unpleasant. Hurry up and take care of the matter between the two of you. I told them to pack their bags. Transfer into the room. I still don't know where I'm going to live. But a suicidal condolence suddenly interrupted my thoughts. I didn't expect you to live here, Senior, and since the last time we met, it seems like you have more family members. Brian also appears when he hurriedly explains Luna. He actually bypassed the barriers and guards I had set up. He was a lot tougher than I thought. How did you find out where Luna responded? It's one of my talents, but you don't have to worry. I'm the only one who knows about this place at the moment. Immediately, he curiously asked about the source of the commotion outside the door. The day was a bit chaotic indeed. I immediately changed the subject. Ask her what she meant. Luna said, Actually, I'm just here to tell you. Thank you. But I don't remember anything you've done that deserves your gratitude. Luna took it. Never mind. As long as I know what's going on. That day, the moment you enter my body. Haha, this sentence is too ambiguous. Except for Nana's eyes, which are still clear. How others look at me like a repeat offender. But what she said should have been. I used the black mist energy to help him heal his injuries. At the time I thought he had passed out. Luna continued to explain. Because I can wield full attribute mana. So you can also transform and integrate these elements at will. This includes the ability to track down special magical powers. It's magical, isn't it? Grandpa said. It was a gift from him. Although Luna is expounding on her talents. But there was a hint of loneliness in his voice. I confessed. It's more of a curse. Your body is badly damaged by this, isn't it? Luna was overjoyed. So you were right. Senior, but I haven't answered yet. The whispers and accusations behind him are even smaller. Nana listened to the whispers between the two. The whole little head burned red and warmed. You too. Even if your mind is full of serious thoughts. I'm not afraid to teach bad kids. Let's talk about this topic in another place. On the occasion of leaving, I commanded even louder. Before I come back, you'd better both have everything in order. Emily whispered tentatively. Excuse me. Can you tell us where we're moving to? Royal Academy. Emily's face was full of excitement. That's great. There can be a handsome coach. I can take care of the young master all day. It's so blissful. But Brian has no illusions about the rest of his life. I have to eat that kind of food every day. She had mixed feelings for a while. Even Nana's greetings were ignored. Finally left the noisy big family. Luna also begins to explain her origins. In memory. For most of my childhood. It's all spent in cold and dark places. There I had to go through all kinds of painful experiments. But I endured it all in silence. Because it's my responsibility. It is the inherent responsibility of carrying the Hugo surname. So I can't hide from it. Do you also have your own responsibilities? The senior hears Luna ask. I hasten to deny it. Even if I really have this innate responsibility. Then he also disappeared with the fall of my last life. Luna lamented. Then why are you hiding the fact that you are saving everyone? Of course, such a wonderful plot must be watched by girlfriends. Brothers who want to fall in love. Is it that you can't always meet your requirements around you? I'm still holding hands with the girl you like. Don't be afraid to make demands. The more you ask, the more accurate it is to help you find it. If you're looking for a partner, you can hold hands. Go ahead and give it a try. Hide a smart guy like Luna, since he has the talent of tracking magic. Of course, it also has the ability to discern magic. I asked rhetorically what was there to say. That would only cause trouble. You probably already know why. Isn't it? Luna sighed. Suddenly stopped. Reason. Between words. A thick black fog appeared in her hands. Say yes about the magic in your body. At first, I thought it was just a normal dark attribute. Actually, when we first met, I already knew something was wrong. I looked restrained. The first time we meet, you can detect the details of someone's magic. I didn't expect his talent to be so terrifying. Luna didn't realize. But that day after I passed out, the magic you poured into me. But there is a hint of otherworldly power. I interrupted him. So are you going to bring her to Regan Hugo? No, I don't want to. Luna's expression remained unchanged. How can I tell you? Bring this result to Grandpa. It will only cause unnecessary distress. Should I trust the girl in front of me? But the look on her face made it difficult for me to raise doubtful thoughts. So, are you going to rebel against the fishbone blood flowing in your body? Luna is close. Is it a senior? You don't know if there could be another reason for me to do this. He threw himself into my arms. Soft greetings. Thank you for helping me unload some of the long ago. She was already aware of it. When my magic entered his body, I had already discovered that his body was like a boiling fryer. The lid of the pot was artificially sealed. The shackles that bound his heart. It can make the magic boil faster. It will also stop the loss of mana. But the mixed elements are inherently grumpy. He was forcibly restrained in Luna's body. So her body has long been riddled with holes. On the verge of collapse. The magic of satisfaction would soon extinguish the embers of his life. He has a maximum of 3 years to live. Don't know about Regan Hugo. Did that crazy old man know that this would happen in the first place? Luna, however, knows her own body. But he never told his grandfather the truth. When he first met me, he said he was a lonely man. It turns out that from the beginning, it was petrified life and death. He didn't care about the family's responsibilities. It's just going along with it. But I took it upon myself to take off his shackles. This, of course, would have failed Regan's experiments on his body. But who cares? She's the same as I used to be. It is also only a puppet of the will of others. But Luna is now clear about the changes in her body. So I came to thank you. This makes me feel frustrated. Nothing to thank. If you're done, I think it's time for me to go. I hope you can keep it a secret for me. But on the occasion of parting, I still can't help but drop a sentence. Don't push yourself too hard. This caused Luna to chuckle instead. Sure enough, it was just as I thought. He's a very gentle person. And at the Garland Magic Society headquarters, Regan Hugo thundered. The subordinates assume that he is still worried about Luna's arrest. Get busy and share your worries. But Regan spoke amazingly. None of that matters. However, Luna suddenly stopped somewhere else on the way back. You arrange for manpower right away. Be sure to bring her here. See my always well-behaved granddaughter. Did he suddenly have a will of his own? Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly. It was the eyeliner that was placed next to me, but bluntly said that the task was mixed up in the academy. Ben was imprisoned by his grandfather since he was a child. Bird Jing sneaked out, just to see me again. After a few days of trekking, our group finally returned to the Royal Academy again. But Emily's giggle never stopped. Did the Royal Academy make you so happy? Emily responded with a playful smile. Of course, after all, I can always take care of the young master. I left Emily at the Duke's palace. The intention was for his safety. Although because of my active performance, his status as a Philistin in the Duke's court was raised, but he still couldn't get any friends. So these 2 years that weren't with me, she wasn't really happy. This was my negligence. But Emily is still worried. There are no rules for bringing maids in the academy. Never mind. I would beg the principal to make this a special case. But back to the first day of the academy. I found that my estimate of the results was still too optimistic. When pigs fly, Dean was adamant. Even if I repeatedly assure, never let others notice them. But he still gave me a chance to convince him. I promise without blushing. I can promise not to skip classes again. This immediately angered the kind old man. It's something you're supposed to do. He even took it out to bargain. But he voiced his suspicions anyway. I only went out once, and I brought back 2 women. You're not trying to tell me. They have something to do with the events of the Scarlet Banquet. This kind and wise old man will not do anything. But I still chose to avoid it. This thing, It's hard to explain it all at once, but the only thing I can guarantee is, I wasn't behind the blood feast. Isn't what you really want to know is also the answer to this question. Dean's eyes suddenly sharpened. Are you sure? I asked rhetorically. I don't understand what you think of me. To think I'm going to do that kind of thing. Dean finally retracted his look. All right, whatever you like. Anyway, even if I refuse, you won't give up. Isn't it? The negotiation with the principal was relatively smooth. I'm just curious. If he knew the black hand behind this blood feast, turned out to be his most beloved grandson, how do you feel about it? But think about it. In fact, the real mastermind is probably Asher. Then it is up to Boris to refine the implementation. Therein the financial support provided by the Dean Questle family to the Grand Prince. It is also indispensable. In a past life, we've always been in that combination. The only difference is that all the hard work is finally finished by me. But until the moment I died, I realized that I had never been seen as a companion by them. Suddenly, as I turned the corridor, a familiar figure appeared in front of him. It turned out to be Seth, a muscular man. He's still so hard-working. But haven't I bumped into him a little too much lately? Seth immediately greeted me with patience. Hi, bro. You're finally back. He jerked his upper body to reveal the knotted upper body of the muscles. Let's have a fight. It's time to see which of us is the strongest man. Sure enough, he started again. I didn't answer, just stared at him without saying a word. The atmosphere gradually suffocated. I can't stand the embarrassment first. Sure enough, he forgot it. I see you're busy right now, too. We'll fight again next time. When I get back to my dorm, only to see Brian fall to the ground in pain. Did he die of poisoning? Hear me ask. Emily said innocently. Just give Brian a cookie. After she had eaten, she slept peacefully. And she and Nana are feeling good. After speaking, he sent me a persuasive invitation. Is it really because of the food? One is that I can't figure out the situation at any time, and a woman who doesn't know how to read at all. One is always ready to sacrifice. A simple knight who doesn't know how to refuse at all. I ordered Emily harshly. Brian is not to be fed any further food. This caused her to be dissatisfied. But Nana's good appetite is more like an encouragement. Completely lost himself. As I left the principal's office, the principal also told me that I had to eat 4 portions of food at every meal. Questioned. But what he didn't know was, 4 servings of food is the upper limit of the college's food expenses. But it's definitely not Nana's ceiling. More purchases will be needed in the future. Just as I was worried about food, a letter stood out on the dining table. Who's going to be? The letter begins with Luna. But before I could open the letter, a voice preceded my movements. How are you lately? Seniors who appeared there when Emily was immediately on the verge of becoming a great enemy. I was also surprised to find Luna was already standing in front of her. What an oversight. It must be that there are too many things to worry about lately. I don't even know when he's approaching. Luna continued calmly. I snuck out of the house. And in the underground of the Ludi room, 2 figures appeared in this hidden place. We need to act quickly. This is the only way to stop Reagan Hugo. Neela Abs, the instructor of the Royal Academy, signaled. Everything has been arranged. You go out of your way to remind me. Are you so worried about the teacher-student relationship between me and Luna? I'm not that stupid. Would sympathize with such a monster. The male figure finally put his mind at ease. Take the oath. Our companions should have found Luna. All for the glory of the Kingdom of Gaza. And on the streets of the city of Ludi. Just in case Luna speaks out again. I've dragged him to a secluded cafe. This caused her to ridicule again. But there was no rejection of my toughness. I cast a barrier spell on the dorm door. How did you get over? Hear my rhetorical question. Luna just chuckled in response. I just analyzed the mana structure of the barrier. Then dismantle him with magic. It's a simple thing. Isn't it? It's not easy at all. My magical knowledge comes from the accumulation of past lives. So although the mana level is not high, but it can release some 8-star and 9-star magic. Luna, however, was only 13 years old at the time. Even a genius magician with all attributes. There is no deep accumulation of knowledge. It is also impossible to analyze the corresponding elemental energies at all. The amount of knowledge to deal with him is far more terrifying than the talent. Luna asked, "Have you read the letter I wrote to you?" I said embarrassedly, "The letter has not yet been opened." He had already arrived. Luna explained leisurely. She couldn't wait for me to read the letter before replying. "That's why you came to see me early. Did Reagan make you do it?" My question brought everything back to reality. There's no denying it. From the moment I heard her Hugo surname, the wariness of him is revealed. "So he let you get close to me? Tell me." Luna smiled, but the tone remained calm. "That's right. From the beginning, it was my grandfather who asked me to investigate. But that doesn't matter anymore. Of course, whether you believe or not believe these words is your own business. I admit that I will never trust anyone easily." And again asked him about his true intentions. Luna sighed. "Actually, I came to the Royal Academy a year ago, but I have always been attracted by the free breath of the college. That's why I left my mission and stayed here. Although at home, I wasn't allowed to go out either. But the loneliness of free choice and the loneliness of forced confinement. The feeling is still completely different. I was initially assigned to investigate the disappearance of 2 demon dragons and the mysterious death of the head of the Chamber of Commerce. But I'm just finding out now. You may have been a part of all of these events. Of course, this was all just speculation before. But since the last meeting, I affirm these assumptions. I heard about the demon dragon that I slain. It's also connected to the Magic Association." I pressed on. "So what are you going to do now?" Luna said suddenly, "I'm going to die soon. There are up to 3 years left to live. But thank you for helping me. Although I already have the answer in my heart. But I don't believe that. You don't look much changed now. Don't you worry about your imminent death?" There was a bright hint of indifference in Luna's smile. "I also wish I could feel something special. But this thing has been bothering me for too many years." At the end of the day, I felt relieved. "Do you remember when we first met? We said that you were a gentle person? In fact, I have been able to eat with servants for so many years. You are indeed the first person I have ever met. That's what attracted you to me." But all of a sudden, there was a huge change in my attitude. Anyway, none of these things have anything to do with me. It's time to say goodbye. Seeing me get up and prepare to leave, Luna was only slightly surprised. "Is this gone?" "Yes, I don't want to get into some inexplicable trouble." This attitude is already somewhat rude. But Luna still waved goodbye to me softly behind her back. Even Kareem couldn't stand it anymore. "And so you go. Is it really good to leave her there so rudely? If it's usual, this is naturally anachronistic." I can actually empathize with Luna. She grew up in a similar environment to me. All the emotions that come into contact with it are cold. If life has always been like this, that's it. But once you experience freedom and warmth, the loneliness and coldness became unbearable. But I can't agree with him for the reason. Truly. Because from the beginning, there are knights from the Garland Magic Association watching. The best thing to do now is to leave her alone. And just after I left, several knights surrounded Luna. "Please come with us. Mr. Reagan is looking for you." Luna sighed. "I thought the way I slipped out this time was seamless. But you are also showing up too soon. Hello, some treasures. I'm Tintin. Thank you for your continued support and companionship. After the video is upgraded, too many creators have been tricked. I'm also unfortunate to be one of them. Now if there is no cooperation with the financiers, Hairworks, Pure Day Work. Of course, there is also fan feedback. Hiroko experiences burning money, and I want to continue to produce high-quality work. So I'll try window delivery again. The current plan is to recommend delicious snacks in the direction. My homepage is in this area, and I will have a little experience. If you have a favorite product, welcome to the comment area. I'll take a serious look at it. Thank you very much. The teenage girl is deeply involved in the kidnapping incident. Once again, I became a masked assassin and raided the enemy to rescue her. But this time her old wounds seem to have taken a turn for the better. When the Knight of the Kingdom of Gaza suddenly appears in front of Luna. When asking to go with them in Reagan's name, Luna hesitated briefly. In the past, my grandfather had arranged for Sir Victor to escort me out. Where did he go this time? The first knight immediately explained. Victor was assigned other tasks. So this time they were escorted by their companions from the 6th MI. Hearing this, Luna chuckled at the corner of her mouth. You bunch of liars. Actually, I don't know Victor at all. Blade blast. Luna snapped out. The pop pierced the air. The situation in the stadium was suddenly chaotic. Only the wind elemental speed advantage could allow him to escape quickly. But the knights present were already on guard. Caught off guard. But he still quickly shouted for the organization to intercept. Luna didn't dare to stay. But there are still doubts about the identity of these people. You have to get out of here first. But suddenly, a figure was hidden in the nights. Strangely stopped in front of Luna. Hypnotic emotional grip. Luna was attacked and instantly fell, and she didn't know who was going to do it. The face of a bald man is also revealed under the trench coat, although it has been reminded before coming. Don't underestimate this girl. But I didn't expect it to be exposed by him so quickly. Take him back to the carriage. At this time, they are far away from a position that they cannot detect. Kareem also sensed it through his transcendent senses. This scene is not quite right. They seem to have started a fight. Didn't these knights be sent by the Magic Association? And who is hiding behind it? The bald man led by the head went to his life alone. Very well done. Neela Abs was like a praying nun at this time. The voice is full of compassion. What a poor girl. There have been so many inhumane experiments. That's how her whole life was used. And then the fate of abandonment. But then she changed her tunes. This kid is Reagan's most proud masterpiece. It embodies the countless delusional efforts of the Hugo family. But we're not the same as Reagan. We're going to use him to do something otherworldly good. In this way, his life will be more valuable. Isn't it? But in the middle of the night, an eerie black mist swept through the entire camp. The veteran knights of the guards had just risen to their senses. Thought of circulating among the nobility of the empire. Rumors about the assassin of the thing. A sharp swordlight had taken his life. The companion exclaimed. But I can no longer recall my colleagues who had talked and laughed together during the day. And the night is intertwined with black fog. The gorgeous music of death is also composed silently. They all died. What the hell is going on here? But there was no more time for him to figure out the doubts in his mind. Because my figure has appeared behind him. The sudden silence of the camp finally made the two people in the church feel bad. What happened? The bald man only understood at this time. Already being followed during the day. But Neela was a little more excited. Looks like we're in for guests. An enemy is boring. The best pastime for a long night. Ralph. You can deal with him first. Ralph was bruised. I'll make him understand. What price will it pay if you dare to stand in front of us? By this time, all the knights in the camp had been killed by me. There were some surprises that the process went smoothly. Is that all they have to offer? Kareem reminded me. The battle is far from over. Both of the truly formidable enemies were still in the church at this time. Ralph's figure walked out slowly. For a small child. You're doing all this pretty well. You're alone. His boiling magic had already exposed his anger. You're so afraid of someone behind me. Then why don't you bring your companions with you? This provocation was immediate. He immediately stirred up his magic. Attack me. Kill a kid like you. I don't need anyone's help yet. Her magical condition is very similar to Luna's. However, he is more irritable and erratic than Luna. Wait until Neela arrives at the camp. When you want to test the results of Ralph's victory. But I only saw his burly figure. Fall to your knees. Fall hard. This was by no means the result he expected to see. But the masked boy in front of him, he couldn't sense any emotions or magical fluctuations. The voice under the mask is also emotionless. Are you the last one? Why catch Luna Neela? Without saying a word, Abs unleashed all his magic. If you've been having so many questions, it's not going to get a girl's favor. If you want to know the answer, find out for yourself. His magic is strikingly similar to Luna's. Flame Run turned out to be a hybrid magic. The irascible fire elemental and the raging thunder elemental. Let this move be full of power. A furious attack came straight at me head-on. Not only are I not getting the answers I wanted, there were more questions in my mind. Is this the result of the Magical Society's human trials? Just a temptation. I put away my contempt. The demonic blade in his hand swung rapidly. Neela was surprised. It's ridiculous. You want to rely on a dagger to deflect my magic attacks. There is no one in this world who can. But the next moment I was 7 close to him. What boredom. The instantaneous explosion of the wind element and the coordination of physical arts actually let him complete the action of turning in the air with force, when health is not allowed to be released. Dodged the blow I was bound to get. But the short encounter has already left Neela in the dark. This kid is too dangerous. I have to kill him here. Can't let him continue to grow. He was right behind me at this point. It's the best time to attack. Instant fire. He is confident that after this blow, he will lay the foundation for prosperity. But Kareem's figure suddenly appeared. Where are you looking? Naraton didn't feel good. He and the warlocks of his companions were too late to interrupt. But after being attacked by Kareem, the attack has gone off course. The shockwave of the magic shot left the ravines, until the entire facade of the church was destroyed. The battle is over. Neela is bound by Kareem's energy. I still struggled. The total amount of magic in his body is truly staggering. Combat experience is also plentiful, especially the last resort. The power of the instant shot is also amazing enough. But his mistake was that he provoked the wrong people. Who is it? Ordered Luna's kidnapping. How many of you still have it? Neela burst out laughing. You'll soon find out. They will come to you. I will be waiting in hell to meet you. When you look up, the irascible elemental power had slowly torn his body apart. Hollow and bloody stains in the right eye. It also shows the price of his magic power caused by fighting again and again. Kareem voiced his guess. Is that the thing that limits the magic in the heart? That's why the magic can be accumulated all the time. Is it the same inside Luna? I said yes. And a little more explanation of this. In my past life, an ancient book was found in a laboratory in the Kingdom of Gaza. It details an artifact called cardiac suppression and related controls and experiments. That's where the way I sealed it came from. But this made Neela's psychological defense collapse directly and so on. Why can you guess this? Why know so much hidden under the mask? My emotions were also hidden. Now the evil experiments carried out by the Magic Association. It's the so-called evolutionary path, right? Hear me directly call through the top secret of the organization. Neela can't control who you really are anymore. I'm there. You can try to find out on your own. But in hell, Neela finally lost consciousness and cried bitterly. I shouldn't have died like this. It's worthless to die now. But on the battlefield, I've never been pitiful. Besides, he'd just been so magical. The body is also on the verge of collapse. I can't withstand my heavy blows anymore. Gradually disintegrating. And in his stealth, the heart suppressor is as shining as a jewel. Luna's body was on the verge of collapse because of him. So is this thing also usable? Destroy the inhibitors that are implanted in the body. Although it is not recorded in that ancient book. But I think it's worth a try. I crushed it. Embedded in Luna's chest. After a blinding glow, Luna's sky blue eyes finally snapped open. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. Speaking of which, recently, Takako asked if there was a game suitable for playing on vacation. Today he came. There is no end to pie. The dragons begin with tragedy. The frank and lovely Huili regretted that he didn't know until he died. Lu Mingfei's name has become uneasy for countless dragon readers. Now the Dragon Clan has actually taken out the game. That's right, it's the Dragon's Gate of Castle. Here you can not only meet the lively and lovely summer fan schoolgirl, Iceberg Queen Spirit, and other popular characters. And there is a chance to rewrite the tragic ending of Huili. Lots of benefits. Optional SSR and Eri Yusuji will be delivered as soon as you sign in. Get 400 easily in the first week. Draw a complete illustrated book. National Day Into the Pit. There are also S-level skins for free. Although he rescued Luna again, but he still chose to leave quietly. The next day, Luna suddenly wakes up from the magic tower. The sun shone softly on her cheeks. She had never felt so light in her body. It's like a burden that has been placed on the body for a long time. It was finally unloaded. She was dazed at a loss. During the time he was unconscious. What else happened? But with the recovery of bodily functions, her pent-up senses seemed to be stretched suddenly. A trace of longing in my heart. It also grows like weeds. And outside the magic tower, Kareem asked me what the point of doing this was. I just responded indifferently. Maybe Luna will be used later. Maybe it would be a shame to let him die now. But this rhetoric can no longer be perfunctory for Kareem. But you're now more and more addicted to some pointless charity work. Don't forget you said that. Live only for yourself. Aren't you worried that he'll betray you? He's worried about me. Or have personal emotions towards Luna. I didn't expect you to say something like that one day. Kareem immediately blew up. Make no mistake. Your body will eventually belong to me. So you have to take good care of her. Don't put yourself in danger for no apparent reason. After I left, Reagan immediately meets with Luna. But what she heard was extremely dissatisfying. You're saying you don't remember anything after you were kidnapped. It's not clear who sent you back. Luna said indifferently. It was Reagan who suddenly changed color. Do you think I'm going to believe that? The news of the blood feast has alarmed the kingdom. But you're still so slack. The subordinates of the forces next to them first messed up their own proportions. I'm sorry, Mr. Reagan. All this is a dereliction of duty on the part of subordinates. I should have found out sooner. Reagan, who went to pick up the young lady, retracted his expression. It's not your problem. She's just too self-conscious. Because she's my granddaughter. So it adds to the extra workload for you. The subordinate immediately bowed down and apologized. Reagan continued to lean over to comfort. Always doing a good job with you. But all of a sudden, a scorching flame steamed from Reagan's palm. In the blink of an eye, it spread to the whole body of his subordinates. See here. Scared brothers can hug their girlfriends tightly. If you don't have a girlfriend, you can go to explore. Find a detective. There are a lot of beautiful and gentle young ladies on it. It's time to get off the list. In the future, someone will accompany you to watch a movie. The subordinate was stunned. But Reagan had already sunk his face. Actually, I always knew that you had betrayed us. But you would think you've hurt my granddaughter. Will I keep you alive in the future? Listen to me. Shut up. The scorching breath of fire was no longer reserved. Reagan's furious fury also went even crazier. I feel sick to hear you say a word now. A raging fire. In the blink of an eye, he completely devoured his subordinates. Luna swallowed in disbelief. Is it necessary to be so harsh? The choking smell still lingers in the house. But the floor has stopped burning. Now only Luna is left to confront Reagan. Reagan's expression was composed. It's time to get down to business. Have you got a result of what you investigated? Luna struggled to keep her composure. After such a sudden change, is Reagan still so concerned about this? He had already guessed. Reagan may have had the answer in mind. This is where the reply must be taken seriously. Didn't find anything special? Luna knew it was in front of her grandfather. There must not be a trace of horse's feet. Outright lies will never work. I'll be late this time. It's for his sake. When we first met, I didn't find anything special about him. Reagan is losing patience. His hand rests on Luna's shoulder. You know it's not the answer I want. It was these hands that had just burned a body with their own hands. But now the owner of the hands spoke as softly as possible, inducing Luna. Say the answer she wants. Tell me about Luna. What exactly is she hiding? She has Werther's blood in her veins. I'm sure he won't be that simple. Or that someone is behind his back to help him. Luna's tone remained silent. She's just a child. There is only a guardian knight and useless maid. There is no evidence that she is connected to these events. Grandpa, why do you have to hold on to him? Reagan finally stopped hiding it. Are you questioning me? You were born to be part of the Hugo family. What you have to do is never question. Rather, it is resolute obedience. If you don't want to speak, get out now. But you are not allowed to take half a step out of the magic tower. Luna's eyes hidden under her short hair. I was already crying. She felt tired and curly. This one will only bring sick and suffocating blood. It really annoyed him. And when I get back to the Royal Academy, all I saw was Seth, who was napping in front of my door. He didn't know how many more days he had been here. It sucks. He's not going to class now? I can only go back to the dormitory later. Just as I was wandering down the hallway, but suddenly I heard rumors about the disappearance of the academy teacher. Myra's familiar name is the instructor in charge of magic training. Neela Abs took the initiative to signal for me, but it was Celica who suddenly appeared behind me. But as soon as he came up, he didn't look good. Why are you killing him? I've never heard of it. I hastily denied it. Of course you haven't heard of it. Because you skipped almost all of your classes. Celica's tone was still unkind. Neela is from the Garland Magical Society. Is a very gifted magician. But we have intelligence to show that. He was actually one of the opponents of Reagan's rule. Because the Royal Academy is a neutral place. So there are constantly instructors from other kingdoms joining. But he shouldn't have done anything like kidnapping Luna. I'm glad you were before we did anything. This issue has been dealt with. Put it this way. Do you have a little impression? It seems to give me a little more serious. Don't you take a snack when you kill someone? I asked him rhetorically. What will the academy do about this? Celica gestured. Substitute teachers will be used for the time being, until the magic instructor who replaced Nira's position appeared. But now he has a new task for me. The new instructor may already be on his way. And in the middle of a long trip to the city of Ludi, a gentleman stretches his body comfortably. Golden waves of wheat and a gentle breeze constantly blow on the cheeks. The exhaustion of his journey was swept away. He couldn't help but let out a sigh of admiration. I really like the view. Seeing that he was in a good mood, the coachman couldn't help but talk. Haha, guest. I think you'll love the countryside. After all, these are rare in the city. What is the wind that blows you? Boris chuckled. An older young man who has been 18 years old for many years suddenly came to a big city. Of course, it's just for a job opening. The coachman quipped. Then I would venture to guess that you are a teacher. Boris laughed. But not anymore. By the way, I'm just from a small country town, haha. In the dormitories of the Royal Academy, however, it was a different story. After the freshness period of the previous few days, Emily was lying on the couch with no love. I'm so bored. Kareem gritted his teeth. Get out of the way. I told you. This is my location. Emily was unimpressed. Where do you say that? This is the young master's dormitory. Nothing is yours. He didn't know who she had messed with. When I transfer back to my dorm, Emily has fallen into autism on her own. Miss Wu, Kareem is terrible. Kareem, we've got a new mission. Emily immediately took the lead. The young master took me along. I immediately refused. You have more important tasks to do. Emily will be skeptical. Really? Really, you have to make sure that Nana will never go hungry. Emily's IQ exploded wrong. It's not important at all, okay? But the sound from inside Nina's room stopped her from screaming. She remembered the fear she had been dominated by Nana. Nana's figure also appeared at the right time. Daddy is back. Daddy Nana is so hungry. She's not going to be transformative again. Emily suddenly felt like a great enemy. Eat bread quickly. Nana immediately showed a satisfied expression again. Emily swears. Leave it to her. She is very confident in her cooking skills. Well done, Emily. I'm sure this is a task for you. Of course, if it weren't for Brian's recovery from detoxification, it can be said that it is perfect. Kareem couldn't help but be curious about the journey. I told him. Next, we will head to the cities in the southwestern part of the empire. Lancaster is a crime city ruled by money and violence. Chaos and blood are playing out every day. And his inhumane arena is even more world-famous. At this time, the arena was full of people. Insults and curses are endless. Human fighter Z-barred after the pre-battle against the giant Zuckerberg. The giants frantically taunt Z-barred for his weakness. This petite human fighter. It was immediately decided to take advantage of the speed advantage in a desperate fight. However, the leaping figure was still in mid-air. It has been clenched by the giant's hand. Damn it, his speed was sluggish. It turned out to be all camouflage just now. However, he had lost a second chance forever. Huge and flexible. Zuckerberg, a giant who is also good at mental tactics, won one game first. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly. A new task is issued. Vice City, known as the Dragon of the Beasts. And my mission this time is to bring her back. Just stepped into Ranster Castle. Kareem was frustrated by the city's filth. Everywhere are drunk, dreamy, dead, lifeless eyes. I said calmly, the city of Ludi, where we now live, is a neutral city agreed upon by various countries. That's why we can have a rare peace. But this is the real state of the world. Kareem asked me what I meant, puzzled. But a group of people who suddenly appeared blocked the way. Hey miss, why not leave this kid behind? Play with some real men. Of course, we may be a little rude. You have to be patient. Is Miss calling me? Kareem's face was full of surprise. Apparently not interested in this appellation. But my voice rang out at the right time. Because the forces that dominate here are violence and chaos. So everyone is at risk. I had to choose to be a criminal, just like these people in front of you. In words, I shot quickly. Turned to leave. Only the body that was flattened was left. But no one has ever seen him so far. So there's no point in blindly probing around. I saw an increasing number of luxury carriages stopping at the inn. I was finally sure that the opportunity one had been waiting for was finally coming. An acquaintance of mine said hello to the boss. Your name is Lisa. He responded with a smile on his face. Yes. You can call me Lisa of the Ranster Cage. I'm straight to the point. I'd like to use an Octaceratosaurus. Sorry for the guests. According to the regulations, those who have just arrived here are not yet able to participate in the duel. He's lying. And what about those new guests who are staying these days? Why are they all gone? Or am I the only one who is new? A moment of clash of words. I keenly sensed a hint of murder. But the next second, he immediately hurriedly bowed down and apologized. Frequent signs of weakness. But he did not back down. It's funny. Let me see what you're worried about. Majestic killing intent fluctuations spilled out of my body. See here. Scared brothers can hug their girlfriends tightly. If you don't have a girlfriend, you can go and explore. Find a detective. There are a lot of beautiful and gentle young ladies on it. It's time to get off the list. Someone will accompany you to watch a movie in the future. Lisa couldn't hold back any longer. He pulled out his weapon and shot it at me. I dodged and flew away. 3 hidden weapons were shot down by me in the air. Wait until Lisa comes back to her senses. Only to realize that all I had thrown was a gold coin. At this point, he felt a little scared. He only suddenly sensed that his life was in danger. Only subconsciously shot. There was no intention of killing me. But I didn't expect to be easily blocked by me. He realized. If the fluctuation of killing intent just now also came from me. The kid in front of him wasn't simple at all. He hurriedly apologized. but I'm tough. You're making me very angry, ready to take responsibility for this. Behind this hostel, sure enough, there was a secret door to the octagonal dragon arena. I thought I would be able to open a hotel in such a chaotic area. How can it be so simple on the surface? See that I have not made any other unreasonable demands. Lisa, on her parting, gave me another stamp of the VIP room. He explained, having this thing keeps me safe. And instructed, I don't know why I have to go to Octotosaurus though. But the best way to get out of the city is to get out of the city as soon as possible. Otherwise, no matter how many lives there are, it is not sweet enough. He's also quite funny. So on the occasion of parting, I gave him one more sentence. I'll just take what you just said as a threat. Always keep it in mind. I stepped out into the corridor of the secret passage. Kareem's voice rang out. Why don't you let him take you directly to the city? What about the owner of the underground? I'm afraid that's not going to happen. The underground ruler of the city was Lazini Halaf. The task required me to bring him back by any means. But even in my previous life, I had attacked this fortress many times. Nor has any information ever been obtained about him. Lancet was not ultimately ruined by war. Rather, it was ruined by infighting. Its inhabitants have become accustomed to profiting from violence and chaos. That's why it's so brave and ruthless, not afraid of war. But these are also ultimately the source of their self-destruction. And in another corner of the city, the yellow-haired thug who was flattened by me knelt in front of the boss, plead for revenge on me. But it only drew a laugh. You're saying you can't even handle a little kid. He's no ordinary kid. And he now lives in a VIP room. We simply don't know where to start. I have to beg you. Mr. Gunther. Gunther looked excited. Do you mean the son of a nobleman? That's a lot more interesting. We also go to the octopus. At this time, the octagon cage was still in full swing. Blood and carnage are still stimulating everyone's hormones. Kareem finally got a feel for my words. I also began to understand why the city fell in the end. But such a tournament will also attract more attention from gamblers. That's why I'm here. It's hard to find Lena Nikolov, but it was much easier for him to find us. At this point, my figure finally caught the guard's attention. Hey, kids are not allowed here. The timing of the coming. Just right. I knocked it out with one punch. Then go soft. Punch punch. The guards were shocked by my sudden madness. But I just opened my mouth awe-inspiringly. Now where am I supposed to fight? And not just as a spectator. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly.